drinkers. I would like to introduce myself, but I want to introduce the person taking the photo there first. And you are?
I'm the Commander-in-Chief of the Twisted Sisters and the Twisted Winemakers.
My God, you got that right. I am the commander's husband. My name is Ron, and my two boys, Rick and Tim, are here, who are pretty much the winemakers down here now. But I just come down here to cause problems, and they know that. So. Anyhow, understand you want to talk about fermentation. Well, I can tell you right now, it's really boring. Unless you're a chemistry student, it's just boring. So we're going to try to make it simple, because we're pretty much just simple winemakers. And hopefully, we're looking for people who aren't necessarily simple wine drinkers, but people that like to drink wine. According to Greek, we're going to read a lot of this stuff because we can't remember it. According to Greek legend, the son of Zeus invented wine on Mount Nysa in Libya. Well, at least we've got something from Libya anyhow. That's nice. I don't think there were any chemists in those days. I think most of them were just simple winemakers. Who was that Greek? Zeus. Yeah. Well, I think we should have a drink. Yeah, let's have a drink to Zeus. Yeah. There it is, Zeus. Hey, where's Zeus? What are you drinking? What is that? You know what kind of wine it is? It's the rosebud. Yes, it is. I don't know. I didn't pour it. I think it is. Yeah. It's the rosebud. Yeah, that's good. Cabernet Sauvignon Yellow Blend. Anyhow, fermentation is really, very simple. It's just a matter of converting sugar and juice and turning it into alcohol and carbon dioxide, that's Mother Nature doing its thing. The process is pretty much the same as far as grapes, fruits, like pears, peaches, and so on, and vegetables. If your total acid is good, sugar is high enough, and a food product is good, which is very important, you're off to a good start as far as fermentation goes. The alcohol fermentation goes on every day. Just ask our friends in prison over there, and they'll tell you all about it. So I would like to, let's see, who's going next? I think Rick's going next. Rick will tell you a few things about what goes on down here. Go ahead, Zippy. Go ahead, Zippy.
The tanks you see here are used for fermentation in bulk storage. These tanks you see behind me, this is where we make all the wine. What we do is we get the fresh juices in, pumped into the wine tanks, and we ferment from there. Of course, we check all our levels and adjust as needed. Normally, red wines you like to ferment on the skins, keep the color. But here we don't get that opportunity because we don't crush grapes, we get the juices in. So,
before you start talking about how you do the fermentation, you want me to read this first?
Yeah.
And then he can explain why.
I'm a little confused here. Well, that's the way twisted people are, so go ahead.
You guys continue. I'm going to tilt this tank because we are working while we do this. So.
We're trying to make wine. It's that time of year.
Well, before Rick starts talking about fermentation, we just wanted to say that all grapes are born with the natural fungi on them known as wild yeast. The fruit will slowly ferment on its own, wild yeast, which is undesirable unless a proper amount of sulfur dioxide, SO2, is added. The selective, more desirable yeast strains that we add are more tolerant to sulfur dioxide and will take over for a clean fermentation. The other important item we add to our juice is yeast nutrients, which are all yeast needs to be fed like a baby. Grapes provide a good deal of it, but it's best to keep the yeast happy with an additional amount of food. We will add additional food. This takes the place of the raisins that they used to use in the old days when your grandpa was fermenting his wine. And then I guess Rick will tell you exactly how we ferment from there using the yeast that we use instead of the wild yeast.
Hey, Zippy, how we doing? You gotta get up here now.
Well, I'm trying to hold this tank, so. We use different yeast for all wines we make. There's one for fruit wine, blackberry, raspberry. There's a bunch of different ones for your red wines. It's important that the juice is at a certain temperature before you start to ferment. You don't want it too cold. You want, what is it, about 58, 60 degrees, you think?
That'd be nice with fruit wines.
Is a good starting point. What we do is we try to get our yeast going in a little bit of warm water before we add it to the actual juice. That gets the yeast active once it gets in.
Sorry, but we're a busy place here.
And then we continually check the fermentation once it starts by smelling it. Biggest issue some people have with fermentation is hydrogen sulfide, which is not good at all, right?
Oh boy, that's bad news. Smells like rotten eggs.
Rotten eggs, and it's hard to get rid of in the wine once it's in there.
Oh, excuse me. Okay.
Yeah, me too. There's a lot of gases down here. Believe me, they're not all from the juice.
Just ask Zippy over here.
But other than that, we check the sugar level. Once the sugar level is down to zero, the wine's pretty much, the juice is pretty much now wine. So we just go from there as far as filtering and full stabilization and bottle. So
That's pretty much an overview of the basic alcohol fermentation. If you really like to see and learn more about it, I would suggest coming to the winery and visit with us, because we can actually, especially this time of year, we can actually show you what's going on as far as fermentation goes. That'd be great. And we're up here in the northwest part of the state in Kane, PA, in the middle of the Allegheny National Forest. We'd like to have you here and show you around. And we promise to keep things simple. Because we don't know any better, basically. You might even...
Go ahead, buddy.
Okay, all right. You just got noise in the background.
Let me see. I do like the wine glass review.
This is Cellars tasting. You might even get to see some of these little fermentation buggers in action, chomping on the sugars of the grape juice that we were talking about. And be nice to our girls down there. And don't hold up the line there where you're at right now, because we might have some people who want to buy wine, and if you hold up the line, I think the least you have to do is buy a couple bottles from Andy and Julie. That'd be really nice. Give them a big old kiss for us, all right? One other thing about fermentation, there is a malolactic fermentation we do in the red wines. It's actually a bacteria that we put into the red wines that converts the acids, the malic acid to lactic acid. It gives it a nice buttery flavor.
It takes the fruitiness out, right?
It takes some of the fruitiness out. But that's a subject for another time. So right now, what we'd like to say is thanks a lot for listening to us, and we'll see you sometime.
Don't forget, support your local Pennsylvania wineries.
Yep. Bye. Here's to you.
Salute.
Bye from the Twisted Winemakers of Flickerwood Wine Cellars in Kane, Pennsylvania.